Okay, we have an object option group. Let's look closer on some of those properties. First, select all object using material select in summary. So by default, when you go in a summary and you select on material, it will select all of this object that currently material to assign. If you don't want this, you can just disable that option and it can work. Next, flash view when change object preview. So what is happening as example? One thing to preview, I actually need close because you notice this is not module window, so I cannot really click anywhere without closing these options. So let's click OK, and notice I have an object selected. And when I change to the orange, you can see very fast it's kind of turn on off. So displaying for me this color it was changed to. So if I don't want that flash, I can disable. And when I change color, it does not flash, just apply this color. So it's just help tip showing you to which object and what color was assigned to this. Okay, next we have it. Let's enable flash. Okay, use a number of copies the scatter. So right here you can see when it's scattering and duplicated, you can use the same number for both. So if it does not disable and you're going to the properties where you have a duplicate objects, okay, or you have it scattering, you notice right here it's using copy. So you can specify to use it same duplicate or scatter the same numbers as was duplicate. So let's go back to the options. Next, and usually you want to disable by default. We have it enable automatic primitive numbering. Notice right here I have it 1, 2, 3. So every time when I create new or copy this primitive, which is same one with name, it will automatically will add number to the add. So it's helped me to kind of distinguish with them a little bit easy that way. You can always disable this. So in this case it will have it like sphere and will sphere, so it will keep it same name all the time. Okay, next, display real size of the object in a world units. This is really related to the properties when you're going inside the measurement and you look on a object sizes. So this is will be used actual the object size in the real world units. You can deselect these options and the size will indicate an internal value of this object. Okay, the next we have a reserve size of natural element at creation. So when I create, put a tree or a rock or other ones, place it, the object will rescale based on the my scenery scale. So it's, if it's tree too large, it will scale to my currently scale that I set for the scenery. Otherwise, the scale will be changed or keep it as original. If you think you will be rescale, you maybe want to keep it original, but usually this preserves natural size, work very well and actually save you a quite bit time on rescaling other object you're importing or loading. Offset duplicate by default is unchecked. Personally, I do like check this. An example, if I have a sphere, okay, let me go select sphere and I copy and paste. So you can notice it's put right here, but if I go and create new object and I create new another ones, you'll notice it will a little bit offset if I'm using the duplicate properties. So right here you can see it's kind of offset my objects. Okay, let me go ahead, clear up a little bit the scenery. Okay, let's go back to our options. Okay, how I said, it's personally you can enable disable. I will disable to the default value as we're going through the tutorial. And next, center view object when it's loading. This way view will center object as you load it. And again, in some cases I don't like it because I like to load it in area where view, but again by default it will be put on the center of the view and you can modify from this. Okay, drag drop drag object at mouse location. So for example, if you have a tree or other one's object and you drag from the browser and release your mouse in specific area, in this area the object will be placed. Drop imported object to the ground. Again, when you import, you'll notice objects sometimes flowing in the air, and if you prefer them be dropped on the wherever is below, it's not necessarily ground, it will be some other, then you can enable this way. I found with some imported object, depend where the pivot point set, they may be dropped too low, so I like them kind of set a little bit floating so I can readjust by myself manually, but it's up to your preferences. And assigned last used materials to the new object, so it's meaning whatever last material you was using and you create new object, that material will assign to create a new object. So for example, let's go click OK. We'll select this object. Okay, let me reselect it. Okay, and we're going to switch this material. We'll go preload to some basic red, and you notice before it was gray. So if I create a new object, it will have its same red color, so it's applied the same materials. Okay, the assign last used materials to new object, the options can be useful if you're modeling inside the view with primitives and you maybe want to assign same rock materials when you do boolean operations, or maybe you build some engine or something. So in some cases it's useful to use last material in this case, but for now, purpose of tutorials, I'll disable. Next option is configure poser import. If you're using poser applications, currently I do use it, and I have the latest Poser Pro. However, right here SDK, I do recommend to select the latest SDK, so it's have more capability, and you can see from drop down you can enable or select different. As well, you can point to location for your Poser application or file directly from preset. If you do not set options here and you first time import Poser model, the view will prompt you for the setting so you can set up after, but you can do this before. Notice right here when I set and I change SDK it's using, the view also asks right now for me to restart the application to accept those.